If I'm being honest with myself, I'm frustrated how Square Enix has treated Final Fantasy XI and its community, especially in the wake of its 20th anniversary having come and gone here in 2022. And now, as we are officially into 2023, I want to sit down and reflect on the state of Final Fantasy XI and praise the Horizon 11 team for what they've put together in terms of their launcher and so much more. So before we dive into just the Horizon 11, this video is going to have some positive thoughts. It's going to have some negative thoughts. It's going to overall encapsulate my feelings and emotions about the state of Final Fantasy XI and how Square Enix has kind of treated it like a black sheep, while at the same time praising what's good out there, but also being honest about what is out there in the private sector space, and talk about some of the frustrations that I have there as well. And so hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name's Brian if you're new around here, and if you're a returning subscriber, honestly, happy new year. Hopefully you guys are having a great year so far, and hopefully some way, somehow, I'll be able to make this year even better for you. But all that being said, I'm going to actually start with some praise, because this video should start off on a high note. It is the beginning of a new year, lots of potential out there, and Horizon 11 really represents that potential. Now I'm just going to show you a few things here on screen. Legitimately, this launcher is the best launcher. Turning on and off features is so easy. Being able to set up my config for the gamepad is so easy. They have really thought it through. You can see how many players are currently playing. My only issue with Final Fantasy Horizon 11 is it's sometimes very hard for me to get past the lobby boss, because it is a very populated and popular server right now. When it comes to private servers, there also is going to be, no matter what, drama in the Final Fantasy XI private server community. No matter what, I will see comments, because I do have a character over on Wings. There are people who have their preference for private servers, and that's perfectly fine. But it's going to highlight some of the frustration that I have at Square Enix about Final Fantasy XI, is that if you look at what the Horizon team has done, how they've kind of streamlined it, how the communities themselves have really added things to Final Fantasy XI to continue its support, it really makes me wonder why Square Enix cannot do the same. And in the same breath, the developer in me knows that there are certain things that Square Enix has to maintain. They have to take payment, they have to provide service, they got to make sure that these things work on these devices. They're not under the same restrictions, or they're actually under more restrictions than the private server community would and could be. And so I'm going to give them a degree of points for that aspect, because we don't fully truly understand their capabilities when it comes to legal ramifications, company protecting the company, and more that just don't necessarily exist on a private server itself. But the heart wants what it wants. And when you look at the screenshots, if you guys don't remember Final Fantasy XI R, which was the mobile remake that got canceled, when you look at the screenshots, Square Enix was making headway. They were doing something with Final Fantasy XI, but then you go look at all the dadgum interviews that have been published out there, and Yoshi P rarely talks about Final Fantasy XI. When he praises the old MMOs that he loves, Final Fantasy XI isn't anywhere on his lips. And I think in and of itself, that kind of sends this message to me. And not to say that this is fact. I wish I could speak to you guys about the facts, but they're so few and far between that we have only left to know how we feel about it. And that's what this video is. It feels like Square Enix does not know what they need to do or want to do with 11. And I think they know what they need to do. Let me correct that, because that was a misspeak. I think they know what they need to do. The question is what do they have the manpower and the will to do so? And this is the thing that in game development that never seems to get talked about, especially when it talks about the cost. What we're talking about here in this video is tech debt. We're talking about the time, the money, the resources, and the will to really do something special with Final Fantasy XI. I was hoping that the mobile remake, that they could salvage some of that, because that was built in Unreal, and just use that as a restarting point of modernization of the Final Fantasy XI as an MMO, and to kind of encapsulate it as all a part of the browser, the launcher that exists in Final Fantasy XIV. That in and of itself would be the dream come true. Final Fantasy XI in a modern sense, and there will be some concessions that players will have to give up. Not everything. I think they could lean more, into that sandbox style. They could really do some things, but I think there would be some concessions that players would have to give up. But a graphical overhaul would also be so cool. But even if they didn't want to go and do a graphical overhaul of 11, the launcher, the streamlining of it, the ability to install Horizon 11 and to launch this game is truly phenomenal. And it's so funny to me that it seems like that would be such a low bar of entry that they have put together, where in, the retail version of 11, for me, it still requires play online. I've heard that there's ways you can still play retail and kind of get around that, but let's talk about the offering that Square Enix has delivered and implemented for this game itself. And the Horizon 11 guys have knocked it out of the park. And we're going to see how this evolves, because their whole plan is to get all the content, but keep it level locked at 75. And so that just comes back to, where is Square Enix on offering a private server? Like, not necessarily a private server, but that kind of experience with the game. It is still a subscription-based game for Final Fantasy 11. There are still players playing on Azura. I like to sub and join in on 11 from time to time over there. I probably will do that again this year. It seems to be kind of a yearly tradition for me to check in with 11. And it's such a great experience, such a great game. And it just makes me really wish that we would see some true leadership, true direction, true communication about the state of the game. They communicated in one interview that they want this game, they'd love it if it'd go for another 100 years. I think a lot of players would love that, to see this game continue to evolve down the road. And even if they decided to put it in the Final Fantasy 14 engine, to be able to upgrade the visuals and to be able to bring in, and this is where the community is always going to, agree and disagree on some levels of quality of life, make the friends list not driven off of play online, make certain things just work and function without having to go through so many menus. There's certain things that would be a struggle, being able to put all the skills and more on the cross hotbar, but it is going to be what it is, right? Like I said, there's going to have to be some concessions that the 11 team and the 11 players would have to make in order for, I think, it to kind of start stepping into the 2020s. And so that's what I wanted to voice to you guys today. My experience with the Horizon 11 has so far been very positive, but limited, because there's a lot of people trying to play Horizon 11, and that's awesome and good on the team for putting that together. In fact, I found out that I was playing Horizon 11 when somebody was saying that Tyler, aka Ninja, was saying that I was joining him. I think he was talking about Pepperjack, who's also has the same name as me, but we've gotten together. We've played on Wings. He's a really cool guy. I like Tyler a lot. I like him, and his brothers and I are friends, and they're just a really cool group of people. And I hope that I can spend some time playing some 11 with Chris and with Ty this year. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. It's just going to be a matter, because I don't have all day to play video games. And Lord knows, adding in Final Fantasy 11 would be a bigger time sink than I think I have the capacity to, consider my goals for 2023. I'm happy that Horizon 11 exists, but it's not going to be without its downfalls. It's not going to be without its human natures and struggles. I had a friend who was banned from the Wings XI server because they assumed he was botting. He wasn't. He was just AFK. But the server, the retail team has to do way more than a private server team. And it's unfortunate that the gap is so wide in what is available and what Square Enix is doing. And at the end of the day, whenever they sit down and talk about NFTs, my heart sinks a little bit. I get a little bit more frustrated, because if they want to do NFTs, that's fine. It's their business. It's their company. But I want something here, and I'm always going to want something here. Does that mean they have to, stop everything they're doing and appease me? Absolutely not. But I know I'm one voice here in this video, but I'm not just one voice. I don't think we're loud enough. I don't think we're big enough. I don't think it's earth-shattering numbers, right? Because if it was, a company would step up and do this. And companies are trying, but I think when we look at just the numbers and the mathematics, clearly theme park is more popular than sandbox. And that's unfortunate, because I get so much more joy in the sandbox than I do the theme park. And I'll leave it at that. I wish you guys all well, Happy New Year. Wealth, happiness, health, and more. If you guys need anything, you can always sound off below. You can always private message me on Discord if needed. or hopefully you can always check out other videos that I have posted here on the channel, and I'm looking forward to sharing more of 2023 and gaming with you. We've got a lot of videos planned already, and be sure to say thanks, Jack, in the comments, to let the editor know that he's doing such a great job and helping me keep these videos rolling and flowing for you guys on a consistent basis. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one, but until then, take care.